Hello guys, I'm Nshimiyimana. I'm the product design lead at Exus Limited. I'm with...
Hello, my name is Nduwayo Josue and I'm a product designer here at Exus, and welcome to UX
Dive.
Yo, welcome back to UX Dive. We are your hosts. My name is Josue and Nduwayo. This is my co-host.
I'm Nshimiyimana.
On this episode, we're going to be talking about portfolios, how to create them. We're going to touch a bit about, we're going to touch on what makes a good portfolio. And we're going to talk about what employers are exactly looking for when they're looking for prospects and hires. And that will touch on portfolios and what you as designers can do on your end trying to apply for jobs. So to start it off, I'm going to throw it to you and ask, when you're trying to hire a designer, whether it be UX, graphic, whatever, what are you looking for skill-wise, or the way they present their work, the way they present themselves? Yeah, just tell me a bit about that.
Thank you very much. So first of all, a good portfolio should have like an introductory part. Mm-hmm. So that part should have like the marketing of the designer himself, like what he actually does. So many people tend to do the same mistake. For instance, if I do both UI UX and software engineering, so most of people tend to combine both of the portfolios, but it's better to separate both. So if you're doing, let's say, 3 separate careers, so it's better to do a portfolio for each. So that, for instance, if I'm looking for UI UX designer and then I land on your website or your portfolio, in few seconds I should be able to tell that this website I'm looking for, it's for a UI UX designer.
Right.
Apart from that introductory part, the other crucial section is now the story behind. So why did you choose to be a designer? What makes you a great designer? Also, why did you choose UX, for instance, since it's part of design? Apart from that, also, it's not necessary to have like a huge experience to come up with a good story behind what you do. So there is a recent article I read about a nurse. So she was saying that since in nursing she was mostly interacting with people, so she got skills for user-centered design. So you see that even if she was a nurse, but she got skills which can help her to transition to UI UX. Yeah, so that is the kind of stories you can come up with if you don't have like huge years of experience. All you have to do is to try to connect what you have been doing for and then connect them with UI UX. The other important part is now to highlight or showcase the project you have been working on. So also on this section, many designers tend to do the same mistake. So even for me, I used to do that a lot, like presentation. So if it's a project I've been working on, I was like into getting good mockups, getting them there on my Dribble account, etc. But now I realized like most of the recruiters, what they're into, it's more about the process, not the actual design. So if you are presenting a project, it's better to do the breakdown, do the process from the ideation, the wireframes, the entire process, design process you took, because it's what recruiters are much more interested into. Also, it's in addition, if you have some knowledge about the business sense of the project you have been working on. Let's say, for instance, if it's an app you have given a task to work on, it's better if you say, for instance, before I work on this app, the install rate was this one. After I redesigned the entire app, after I improved the UX, then the sign up rate increased from this point to this point. That is also an addition.
Metrics.
Yeah, metrics. Those are like the key important things a very good portfolio should have. So it's not like the formula which is fixed. You can be able to add whenever you want. You can add or modify or have any other information you want, but those three parts are more crucial. They are the ones most of the recruiters are much more interested in. I think that's it. Maybe back to you. How do you normally do your portfolio?
Okay. Well, I guess you've talked about the employer side of it, and I'll try to talk a bit about it on my side as a designer. So, I mean, I think you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I feel like aside from all that, employers are always looking for creativity, right? I guess that can kind of connect to the design thinking, but in terms of, how, if you have a problem, how are you trying to solve it? And, how are you coming up with innovative solutions to try to fix that?
To complement on what you said, as I mentioned before, recruiters are much more interested into the process, not the process, those mock-ups and So if you document your process, I think it will capture all of those, like both design thinking as well as the creativity.
Well, to be fair, I'm not necessarily talking about it in the sense of the presentation. I'm talking more on the side of, so I think the issue, the blocker that designers have is that at the beginning you don't feel, I guess, justified in your design, in your design skills if you don't have certain professional work. And so at least on my end, when I was starting out, I didn't have a portfolio because I was thinking, I have to be doing professional work for me to show that, I can do professional work. But I think what designers need to get out of and get into is really the thinking that regardless of what you are doing, you just need to have something to show. So, connecting to the skills, I don't think designers need to just show, professional work. So I feel like designers need to reach the point where they can put themselves in the client's shoes and become their own clients. And it can be as simple as redesigning a website's UI or UX, whichever, right? So, and that's what I'm talking about when I say creativity. I feel like it's not just about doing professional work, but, showcase your creativity in something that's mundane, right? If you choose, but take something that's already established and then redesign it in your own, creative vision. And then you can see, you can show what your, unique selling point is.
Yeah, to complement on that, it's not even necessary to always redesign what have been already done. So there are many voluntary design activities online. You can even check on that. Take a project without expecting any payment, because that's how we all start, and then work on it, and then it can be a good start for your portfolio.
I think the point is really just that thing of saying, okay, I have an idea and I want to see how it comes out, and then you just try and design it. It doesn't really matter. I think the reason I go for, redesign something that's already established is because when you do that, you're showing people you're showing people options, right? So if you have something that's already established and then you design something better, people have something to compare it to. So for example, if you redesign Apple's store as an example, right? And you make it better, you make something, right? People are gonna see that portfolio or that design, and then they're gonna compare it to the Apple store, and they can decide for themselves which one looks, relatively better, right? So in that sense, I find that a lot of times people don't know what's good unless they're contrasting it against something else. And so that's why I say for example, an easy place to start is if you redesign something that's already established, because they have that.
I have no objection on that. That also works. If it works for you, then
Yeah, as you're starting out, design whatever. But my main point is, as designers, don't get caught up in the thing of, I need to be doing professional work for me to have a portfolio. Just create. And again, just my advice, but I am less knowledgeable. But that's my own take on it. And I think to get work, you just do whatever you think of, your ideas, and just put them on put them on paper, make them come to life, and move on from there. I guess as a question to you, so you talked about how design thinking is the main thing. How do you, as a designer on the other side, balance trying to put the bare minimum and going all out on creativity and all that? So how do you balance between just going with, okay, I'm just doing this as a proof of concept, and then on the other end, I'm just doing this for creativity's sake? So how do you balance the two?
So basically, at least for my experience, the project which requires more creativity are the ones which doesn't even end up going to the market. Because if you get to work on a product, so there is a certain, can I call it, boundary set. So there are some minimum requirements you should at least deliver in that scope of the project. But if you're working on let's say a personal project, in that case, you can go ahead and implement whatever that is you feel it's okay to you. And then from there, you can even share your ideas with the other people. But in Rwanda, especially, it's kind of hard to apply maximum creativity when you're working on a project for another person, because there are some rules you have to follow. Well, I understand it's hard, but then again, as designers, we are not limited. Even if we have some scope of the project we have to be falling into, my advice is that apply that creativity as much as you want, as long as you have a backup story to explain, I did this because of this. If we apply this will be at the outcome. For me, still, that works. Yeah. First of all, it depends on the nature of the project, but we shouldn't limit ourselves. So apply it as much as you want, and then later, make sure that you have a backup story so that it will be solving a given problem. It's not just being creative to solve nothing. Yeah.
So in the scope of just building portfolios, I feel like you can go crazy with the creativity, but I think that's a good point. You have to demonstrate why it's practical. So try to balance out the creativity and the practicality. I think that's pretty much it for this episode. And Jake,
thank you again. So I think that's what we have prepared today. So if you guys have any portfolio tips you want to share with us, feel free to comment down below the comment section. Also, don't forget to subscribe and share. See you in the next episode.